In the ancient kingdom of Cyrenia, there lived a benevolent king named Aurelius. He was a ruler greatly influenced by the Stoic philosophers of his time, always seeking wisdom in the writings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. His desire was to rule not with an iron fist, but with insight and understanding, to see into the hearts of his subjects, and to address their silent pleas and hidden pain. King Aurelius called upon his most trusted advisor, an elderly sage named Maximus, who was well versed in Stoic philosophy. In the quiet of the royal gardens, the king revealed his deep ambition. "Maximus, I wish to understand my people as I understand the scrolls of our forefathers. I want to read their minds, to rule with the utmost mercy," declared King Aurelius. Maximus, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of many years, replied, "Sire, to read the minds of others is a power not granted to mortals. However, understanding their souls is a matter of deep observation and empathy. Remember, the mind is but a vessel for thoughts, many fleeting and untamed." "Then teach me, Maximus. Teach me to observe and to listen so that I may hear what remains unspoken," the king implored. Click subscriber to this channel to get more profound Stoic wisdom. Maximus nodded. "Very well, but be wary, for even the most stoic of hearts can be swayed by the illusions of the mind." Together they embarked on a silent journey among the people, cloaked in simple garb to hide their royal identities. King Aurelius observed the toils of his subjects, the slight furrow of a brow, the hushed whisper of worry, the reluctant sigh of resignation. One day they came upon a young blacksmith named Caius, whose forge's fire seemed to burn as fiercely as the frustration in his heart. The king, intrigued, struck up a conversation. "Good blacksmith, your work is as robust as the mightiest walls of Cyrenia. Yet I sense a fire in you that burns hotter than the one before us. Tell me, what weighs upon your heart?" Aurelius asked, his tone gentle. Caius, unaware of whom he spoke to, replied, "You are perceptive, stranger. My wife is ill, and the healers demand gold I do not have. I toil day and night, fearing each moment I'm away from her side could be her last." Moved by the blacksmith's plight and recalling the Stoic teaching that true wealth is the wealth of the soul, King Aurelius offered a solution. "Let me work alongside you. Together, we may hasten your work and share the burden." For weeks, the king toiled, feeling the heat of the forge and the weight of the hammer sharing the life of his subject. He learned the value of each swing, each bead of sweat, and the love that fueled Caius's relentless labor. However, as time passed, the king's absence from the throne began to stir unrest among the nobles. Rumors spread of a ruler who had abandoned his crown, and a cunning noble, Lucius, saw an opportunity to seize power. Lucius rallied the nobles. "Our king has forsaken his throne to consort with peasants. It is time for a ruler who shall remain above, not wallow below." As tensions rose, Maximus rushed to the forge, urging King Aurelius to return. "Sire, your kingdom is in peril. Your empathy has taught you much, but Cyrenia needs its king." Torn between the plight of one and the duty to many, King Aurelius faced the ultimate test of his Stoic resolve. King Aurelius, with a heavy heart, bid farewell to Caius, promising that the kingdom would not forget his struggles. Upon his return, he found Cyrenia on the cusp of chaos, with Lucius's words like poison in the ears of the court. Aurelius convened the council, where Lucius, in a display of feigned respect, knelt before him. "Welcome back, my liege. The throne has missed its king." "Lucius, a kingdom is not a chair upon which one sits, but a family for which one stands, Aurelius replied, his voice steady like the Stoic sages of old. I have not abandoned my throne. I have learned the weight it bears upon the shoulders of our people. The council murmured, for the wisdom in the king's words struck deep. Aurelius, with the clarity of a man who had embodied the virtues of Stoicism, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, addressed the nobles. My lords, I have seen the struggles of our people with my own eyes. A ruler who does not understand the hearts of his subjects cannot claim to rule justly. We are charged with the welfare of all, not just the few, he declared. Lucius, sensing his influence wane, attempted to sway the council with promises of power and wealth, but the king's words had ignited a spark of Stoic reflection in their hearts. King Aurelius, now standing firmly upon the bedrock of Stoic philosophy, proposed a new decree. Henceforth, a portion of the royal treasury shall aid those in need, starting with the Healers' Guild, to ensure that no citizen shall suffer for want of care. The council, moved by the king's resolve and justice, agreed. The nobles, including Lucius, acquiesced, their schemes dissolving in the face of the king's unwavering virtue. In the weeks that followed, King Aurelius established a tradition of spending one day a month among his people, listening and observing, ensuring that he remained connected to the lives of his subjects. His rule became a testament to the Stoic belief that leadership is a role of service, not privilege. As for Caius, the king's assistants allowed him to pay for his wife's treatment. Her health restored, they named their firstborn son Aurelius, in honor of the king who had become a true friend. Queen Valeria bid a heartfelt farewell to Theo, assuring him that his plight would not be ignored. As she returned to her palace, she was met with the anxious faces of her council and the smug countenance of Lord Darius. "Welcome back, Your Grace," Darius intoned with a sly smile. "Your throne has been cold in your absence." "Lord Darius, the warmth of a throne is of little concern when the hearths of my people grow cold," Valeria replied, her voice a calm river of strength. "I have not forsaken my duty. I have embraced it fully." The council members exchanged glances, the authenticity of the queen's words resonating with them. Queen Valeria, embodying Stoic virtues, turned to address her entire court. "Fellow guardians of Veritas, I stood among you as one of you. We are tasked with the stewardship of our people. If we are to lead, we must understand, and to understand, we must listen," she proclaimed. Lord Darius, feeling his influence slip, attempted to salvage his position with promises of stricter rule and greater prosperity for the noble class. But the queen's narrative had already sown seeds of Stoic wisdom among the court. With resolute clarity, Queen Valeria issued a new edict. Henceforth, a council of commoners will be formed. They will share their grievances directly with the throne, and together we will address the needs of all, not just those echoed in these halls. The court was moved by her fair judgment and undeniable concern for the common good. Even Lord Darius found himself nodding in agreement, his ambition tempered by the queen's equanimity. In the following months, Queen Valeria established a tradition of common days, where she would mingle with her subjects, ensuring a ruler's connection to the people was maintained. Her governance became a living example of the Stoic principle that a leader is but a servant to the welfare of the state. As for Theo, with the queen's assistance, he was able to afford his son's treatment. Overwhelmed by gratitude, he crafted a magnificent statue of Valeria, not as a queen, but as a citizen of Veritas. It stood in the city square, a reminder of her humility and her commitment to her people. The Stoic lesson woven through Queen Valeria's tale is that true insight into the human condition cannot be gleaned through the supernatural means of mind reading, but through the practical application of empathy, observation, and participation in the lives of others. Queen Valeria's ambition to rule with mercy was met through her Stoic approach to leadership, recognizing the interconnectedness of ruler and ruled, and the importance of serving the common good with a just and understanding heart. The second story, the Monarch's Mirror. In the Stoic city of Eudaimonia, there reigned a king named Atticus, whose desire to connect with his subjects stemmed from a deep well of compassion. Atticus was a learned man, well versed in the teachings of Epictetus and Seneca, and he sought to apply their wisdom to the art of governance. One evening, under the silver gaze of the moon, Atticus confided in his advisor, a philosopher named Maximus. "I wish to understand my people, to see into their minds. If I could discern their true needs, I could rule not just with fairness, but with true mercy," Atticus expressed, his eyes alight with the flame of noble intention. Maximus, whose age had not dulled the sharpness of his intellect, responded, "Sire, the minds of your people are as varied as the leaves in the forest. To understand them, one must not seek to invade their inner sanctum but to reflect it." "And how shall I become this mirror, wise Maximus?" inquired Atticus. "By listening, observing, and above all, engaging with their lives," Maximus replied. "For it is in their lives that their true thoughts are revealed." Thus, King Atticus began to wander among his people, cloaked in the guise of a common merchant. He traveled from the bustling markets to the quiet countryside, engaging with his subjects, sharing in their labors and listening to their stories. One day, in the village of Agora, he met a young baker named Lysander who worked from dawn until dusk to feed the village. Atticus, intrigued by the young man's diligence, struck up a conversation. "Lysander, your bread is as golden as the morning sun, yet I sense a shadow upon your heart," Atticus ventured gently. Lysander, unaware of whom he spoke to, let down his guard. "Kind sir, the tax collectors have been harsh, and I fear I will not make enough to sustain my family and my ailing mother." King Atticus listened intently, his heart heavy with the weight of his crown. He offered to assist in the bakery, and Lysander, grateful for any help, agreed. As the king kneaded dough alongside Lysander, he learned of the village's hardships and of the young baker's dreams. Atticus's quest to understand his subjects was becoming more than a mere ambition. It was transforming into a profound connection with his people. Back at the palace, rumors of the king's absence stirred unrest. A power-hungry noble, Lord Varus, sought to exploit the situation. He whispered poison into the ears of the court, suggesting that the king had abandoned his throne and that he himself should be named regent. Maximus, realizing the gravity of the situation, sought out Atticus with urgency. "My king, your quest has been noble, but Eudaimonia is adrift without its captain. You must return and address the discord in your court." Atticus, faced with the dilemma of his personal quest and his duties as a king, knew he had to make a choice that would define his reign. The reflection of virtue. With a heavy heart, King Atticus took leave from Lysander, promising that his concerns would not go unheard. As he shed his merchant's cloak and donned his royal garb, he felt a transformation within. The king who returned to Eudaimonia was not the same man who had left. He was now a leader truly of the people. Upon entering his court, he was immediately struck by the tension that had taken root in his absence. Lord Varus stepped forward, his ambition poorly veiled by concern. "Your Majesty, in these times of uncertainty, your people require a ruler whose mind is as present as his body," Varus proclaimed with feigned loyalty. King Atticus, with the calm of a Stoic sage, replied, "Lord Varus, my body was absent, but my mind has never been more present with the plight of my people." The court listened as Atticus recounted his experiences, speaking of the villagers' struggles and dreams. He spoke of Lysander's bakery, the overbearing taxes, and the love that every Eudaimonian had for their land. His words carried the weight of truth, and the court was moved. "My friends, I sought to read the minds of my subjects, but I have learned that it is not their minds that need reading, but their lives that need understanding," Atticus declared. "We will reform the tax laws to ease their burdens and create a council where the voices of the people can be heard directly in this court." The nobles, once skeptical, now saw the wisdom in their king's words. Even Lord Varus, his schemes laid bare, could not deny the justice of Atticus's rule. In the following weeks, King Atticus worked tirelessly to implement the changes. The Council of Commoners was formed, giving a voice to those who had never been heard. Taxes were adjusted, allowing trades like Lysander's to flourish. The king's merchant days became a tradition, ensuring that the ruler of Eudaimonia was never disconnected from his subjects. Meanwhile, Lysander's bakery thrived, and with the support provided by the new reforms, his mother regained her health. In gratitude, Lysander sent a loaf of bread to the king each week, each one etched with the image of a crown and a heart, symbolizing the union of royalty and the people. The Stoic lesson derived from King Atticus's tale is a profound one. True understanding does not come from the desire to read minds, but from the willingness to engage with the lives of others. By stepping into the shoes of his subjects, Atticus learned to rule with a compassion that was informed by reality, not just benevolent intent. He discovered that the mind is best understood through acts of service and empathy, and that a ruler's greatest duty is to reflect the needs and hearts of the people. In doing so, he embodied the Stoic ideal that virtue is the only good, and in virtue, we find the wisdom to lead well.